Wonderful, wonderful. How are you? Welcome. I'm so happy to be here tonight. I've been spending last couple of days at the hospital with a friend who has been very ill, and it's lovely to get a little break and knowing she's in good hands, and then together with you, fill myself up again so I can return and give her even more. But I'm amazed about that I even managed to put a presentation up for you. I was a bit worried that I wouldn't, but I did it, and I hope you're gonna appreciate it. Perfect. So this is Spender Academy. It's a space that I wanted to create for quite some time, but everything has its time and I can't do everything at once. So this is actually an intention that I had already 3 years ago. So my intention is to create a space where we can practice energy work. If you come in with tools from before, you can apply them to these things that we're going to do, the money habits part, but I will introduce my way of working with energy. So then you can pick and choose and combine. And my name is Nadia Wallin. So what's going to happen today? I have set aside 1.5 hours. We might be finished before. That's no problem. But I would love for us to go through is to set an intention together. I want to introduce myself because there's a lot of new people for me, actually, which is lovely. And I will share a few words about energy. And as Paulina mentioned, I think we use energy work every day. I would love to agree on that. And I will present how we will work with it today. And we have one more Paulina in the group. Welcome. And we will go through the money blocks today and energy clearing. So this is me. I did a tiny collage to make sure you get tiny glimpses from me. In the middle, you see me as a child. I was a happy girl that believed I was a princess. And I just published my book, Älskade pengar, Beloved Money, which I, for some reason, decided to do a photo shoot in a pool. My dress is wet. I've been on TV. I've done animal communication for several years. And my money stories, like my money stories, my journey on working on my money habits started when I was a young mom already. So this is a picture of me and my son almost 12 years ago. And in the right corner, you see me holding a workshop in Ängsbacka. So you can see me in more traditional settings such as TV, and you can see me in hippie settings, holding space where we dance and move and feel and cry and envision stuff. So I love to call myself the academic witch for that reason. I would say energy work is our emotional intelligence combined with psychic or intuitive tools. And I have one picture that I saw many years ago, and I love it because it's so, it illustrates a lot very well. And this is half of the picture, not to overwhelm you with information. And what we can see on this image, this downward spiral, is, I don't know if the text is too small for you to read it, but on the top we have emotions that we could label as negative, but not very dramatic, like being bored or pessimistic or a little bit frustrated or perhaps overwhelmed or disappointed. But the further down the spiral goes, the stronger and more difficult emotions are being presented. We come down to anger, hate, jealousy, and on the bottom, in this example, I mean, we can change the order of this these emotions. It's situation based, of course, so it's not like like this is set in stone. But I think there's a lot of truth in that in the bottom we will find unworthiness, guilt, shame, and feeling powerless. So perhaps you can think back to a moment where you felt really powerless or filled with so much shame that it was really hard for you to move in such a way, maybe speak what was on your mind, or even in deep depression, like going up from the bed can be really hard. So what we're talking about, this is very dense emotions that gives you low energy. Like you have no energy when you are moving from these energies or emotions. It's really, really hard. And then we compare it with this, which is the other side of the image. And then this is the middle, or the lower part, where it's like contentment. It's all is well. It could be neutral as well. And then if you climb up a little bit, you feel hope. And then you're optimistic. And then you have positive expectations about stuff. And then you're enthusiastic. And on the top, we have like joy and empowerment, like I can do this no matter what, and I'm perhaps so in love. So what happens in this kind of energy, that you don't really need to eat or sleep, even though that's really good for your physical body. You can move anyway, because you're so charged with this energy. So this is high energy. And if I would draw this image myself, I would make it horizontal to help the brain and take away the blame. Because this image is kind of hierarchic, like this is better and this is worse, instead of putting it in a horizontal level and be like, yeah, we will move in between these emotions and I'm still worthy and everything is still fine. But depending on my background, depending on what I've been through, depending on the path I'm on, life will wake up things inside of me, and that's fine. So this is the baseline, the understanding that all emotions are information about something within, subconscious or conscious. Maybe it's a pattern you recognize. Maybe it's something you never thought about yourself. I like to share about myself because real stories give theories more life. So for instance, for many, many years, I saw myself as someone that was worthy. Like I see myself as a person that's worthy. But according to law of attraction, I'm not. But I do think I feel worthy. And my reasoning around this was, I never complain about myself. I never talk shit about myself. I have no issue with my body. It doesn't matter if I gain weight or lose weight. I don't complain. And I could see my girlfriends really be really hard on themselves. I don't believe I can do this, and I don't believe I can do that, and I hate my face, and I hate my body, and all this negative self-talk. I didn't have it. However, I was still curious about this idea of self-worth. And so ask and you shall receive. If you're curious about something, you will continue to receive information. Because in our work with ourselves, we will always be limited in our consciousness, which means we don't see everything. It doesn't mean that it's not there just because we don't see it. So what I didn't see when I was analyzing my self-worth was that I was too proud to admit my fears, which meant no one knew I was afraid. And behind all of that was the idea that if I'm not perfect, I will not be lovable. So I wouldn't complain because I didn't want to be a burden. My friends that were complaining all the time, like, yeah, there was an element of lack in that, not loving themselves, but there was also an acceptance that, yeah, this is me, take it or leave it, which is higher vibration than lying to yourself, basically. So with this idea, like I really want to bring in the curiosity. Like we're talking about money today. This is my topic for several reasons, but if you don't have the financial situation that you want to have, it's okay to be mad, frustrated, and all of these things, but it's also okay to get really curious. Okay, so what here can I shift or change in order to improve my financial situation? So to not see it as a judgment, like, oh, apparently I don't love myself, I don't have the money, and I'm gonna go and sit in the corner and do nothing about it, but be mad. It's unfair. Or I can get curious. And in the curiosity that I suggest is that we start to connect with the light, a loving light that is us already, but we tend to forget it. And the more we connect with it, the more we expand through it, and the more we live through it, the more we become the light, which is a very high frequency of vibration, very high energy. And in this curiosity, we work with our associations. So I love to work with questions, and you're going to see exactly what I mean by that in a little while. But we're not going to analyze if the answers we get with these questions are right or wrong. We're just going to be curious about the intention coming our way. Doesn't matter if it's right or wrong, because nothing's going to happen really. Either you're going to notice a change, a shift, or not. And if you don't, then we continue to be curious. And nothing bad can happen from that, especially not connected to the light. And in this, the remembrance that this is a practice, so we can be playful. And I'll clarify a playful intention in a little while. But before I move on, is there any questions about the energy and the emotional image? I think it's pretty clear, right? You can at any point interrupt. Like you're always welcome to be interactive. And so we're going to bring this parts, connected light, associations, questions, and playful intention with practice. And we're going to bring this into our money blocks for today. So you can close your eyes. See if you can relax your body a little bit more. If you had an intention before coming here, you can anchor into your intention. If you want to find a new one, go ahead. My intention for you and for me is that we're going to have a magical moment together, and that I will give with love and you will receive exactly what you need, want, and desire in terms of insights, transformation, and new knowledge to apply in your everyday life. And then you can imagine up in the sky or in the universe that there is a source of light there. The light can have, if you're visual and see images, the light can have any color or context or shape. It can be glitter or any light. But if you don't see images, don't you worry, it still works. Every word is charged with energy and association, and that works. And I always set the intention that this light is love, truth, and safety. So whatever you see today are being seen with the eyes of truth, but also with eyes of safety, held with love. And as you breathe deeper, you can allow the light to come through your body from the sky and awaken anything that needs to be awakened for you to receive your intention. And breathe deeper and just notice if there's a part of your body that is grabbing your attention. Maybe it feels heavy somewhere or it tingles somewhere. Just observe. And then you can imagine the light move through your entire body and down to your feet. And from your feet, let the light wander through the floor, ground, all the way down to the middle of the earth. And in the center of the earth, I always ask, what can we bring in for today? And the answer I receive is the ability to be human. And what does it mean to be a human? It means to be a creator, someone that creates. You create your life, you create your reality, you create your relationship, you create your moments, you create your thoughts, you create your emotions. And everywhere you don't know how to create, you will curiously learn how to create. And so we allow the remembrance of being the creator move back through the earth, up through your body. And if you want to, you can place one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly, and allow yourself and your energetic body to expand, become bigger. Allow your heart energy to become more alive when it comes to money. When you signed up for this, perhaps you saw on the thank you page when you registered that you could think about what's your um, weakest part of the money story that you carry. And if you have one of those that you know, feel strongly, your weakest part when it comes to money, you can share them in the chat and that we will look at them later. If there's one thing that you would love help with to change. Are you still writing or need one more minute, or are you complete? Hmm. Okay. Is there anyone in here that ever had impulsive spending as an issue or challenge? Did you ever buy something that you can answer with the emoji or thumbs up or something like that? Is there anyone in here that ever bought something from an impulsive space? Yes. Okay. So we're gonna do the psychic play with the pattern of impulsive spending. So I want you all to think about one time in your life. It's very helpful to go to the worst moments because there we have strong emotions, so it's strong associations. One time in your life where you bought something and for some reason you regret it. And the first question to ask yourself is, what feeling do you feel now when you think about it? Because then we are going to this downward spiral, hopefully, of heavy energy to locate what what energy is activated now when I think about my memory. So it's not necessarily what you felt when it happened, but it's what you're experiencing now when you think about it. And we don't give too much time to reflect. So we're working with association. So what is the first thought that comes to your mind? And then your second question is to ask, where in my body do I feel this? And once again, you're not going to think about it, you're going to ask. And the first answer that comes, that's what you're going to go for and play with. Remember, we're having a playful intention, and it's not so important at this stage if you're right or wrong. So this you might think is not super psychic, but this is actually a very important starting point. It's awareness, and we're not getting far without awareness. Then we come to a next type of level that is a bit more abstract, but you're gonna answer it in the same way, like first association that comes to your mind. Is this energy stagnation, block, like whatever word you want to use, mine or someone else? And you don't get more time than that. It's just like the first that comes. And then most of our issues comes from our childhood, right? So from between we're in the belly until 7 or something like that. So most of our issues comes from our parents. So then we can begin to ask, is it from my mom or dad? And then right away you might feel like, oh, okay, yeah, this is mom. Like, I can't explain it. I don't know if she did the same. I don't know how she feels around this topic, but I just feel pulled to mom. And I mean, there's actually a common theme I noticed with a lot of people that I worked with, is that impulsive spending actually comes from mom's side. Because generations back, the dads would work and the moms would be home. And I mean, of course, she needs a break from taking care of the home and needs to go and spend some money. Like, I don't think it's weird at all, but it's a common pattern that comes up. So that's the normal, like the most common one is that it's from mom or dad, but it doesn't have to be. You also went to kindergarten and you went to school and you had friends and their parents and you had your grandparents. So if you don't feel connected to your mom or dad, continue to ask questions. So this was a very important part in my part here, was to ask questions. And this could also be a good thing to bring with you, to differentiate between when there's a guidance and when you're overthinking, when it's a yes or no. So yes, the truth is of lighter vibration than when it's wrong, or when it's a no in this aspect. So when you ask, is it mom or dad? Then mom will feel lighter if it's about mom. The right answer, the pattern comes from the lightness. And we can do a very easy way to try this, is to just say your name, like my name is Nadia, and see how does that feel. That's true to me. My name is my name. That's true to me. I feel connected to my name. My name is Nadia. That feels light to me. But if I would say my name is Jessica, something is off. My name is Ida. No, doesn't feel right to me. My name is Nadia. Much lighter. So I mute myself and you just take a moment to try this on. And preferably use your words, because that's more powerful than your thoughts. Okay, did everyone get a sense of it? Nice. Isn't it cool? Truth is lighter. And there's so many of these kind of practices to practice before you enter the deep emotional stuff. And I can actually, that's a good reminder to myself to make some content with that, because that's really, really fun to play with. But yeah, so, and then let's say you've asked these questions about like people you know that were important to you when you grew up, but it doesn't feel really right. Then you can go back even further in time. So then you can ask, is this a generational stagnation from my dad's mom's side? So yes, and is this a generational stagnation from my dad's side? Or is this from my mom's side? And see what happens. Does it feel light? And if there's still no lightness here, still like, it doesn't make, I don't really get it. You can ask, is this a past life issue? And then maybe there you felt like, it actually feels light. And then doubt can knock on the door, like, but who am I to go into past life? I can't do that. I'm not that type of person. And then the truth is, like, I think we all are. We're asking questions and we're receiving. And depending on where we put our focus, we will receive different things. Yay, someone's joining us. Do we have any questions on these parts? Welcome in, Sara. We are exploring questions on the money block, impulsive spending. And so we go through them one more time. And I think you have some understandings of this before already. So just play with it and see what happens. And if it doesn't make any sense, you let us know. So think about one moment in time where you bought something and regretted it. And then I want you to, when thinking back in time, go into this very moment and ask, what do I feel now when I think about this? Because what you want to observe is the energy in this moment. And then you ask, where in my body do I feel this? And then we are asking questions to our body or subconscious mind or intuitive power. We're asking questions to get to the root. Where does this come from? So we begin with, is this mine or someone else? And if it's someone else, is it my dad or my mom? Or is it generational from somewhere back, like 5 generations ago? You can even frame it like that. Is this a generational stagnation from my mom's side? Yes. Okay. Is it 2 generations ago? 5, 10? And you can continue to ask questions like this. Only your creativity is stopping you here. And if that doesn't feel true or light, you say, is this a past life issue? Does anyone want to share with the voice, like not in the chat, share what came up? It can be answers and it can be doubts, like regardless of what you feel. I'm sure it's beneficial for everyone in the group and also the people watching the recording later. Jessica, I'm going to invite you in.
Yeah, of course. I can share one thing that it was so interesting because before I was like thrown out from this space, so I needed to log in again.
Yeah.
And that was when I was writing a question, or when you said like, or do you have any experience, or I don't remember actually the questions, but I was writing about that my parents were arguing a lot when it comes to money during my childhood, and I have been working with that a lot, but I still feel like the pattern of that money is bad. I still feel that in my field. And when I was about to like press enter to send it, I was thrown out this space. So it was really interesting to see that resistance like that. It was just so clear. So just like an aha moment for me. And then also like during this when I was asked that my money blocks comes from my dad, I started to ask first it was mom, and then when you talk about it, how we're gonna feel, it was my dad. So I was, I don't know if you see it, but I was like just ring, how to say it, ringa in det.
Sparkled it.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm not sure if you
It
see.
gets very blurry.
Yeah, it is, but it actually looks like a dick. Like when I did the circles, it was like even more confirmation. Like, yeah, okay,
It's dead.
it's that. So that was just
So
a
funny.
funny confirmation.
So funny.
Yeah.
So funny. And then, I mean, there also, because I know there's like strong energies in that, we are allowed to bring in healing to our family. So then in order to go deeper into this, you can ask, am I allowed to bring in healing to my dad? And then if there's a lightness to that, you continue. And then you can say, where did he get this from? Right?
Mm, mm,
So the more time we give it, the deeper we go. It's so easy to go in like, oh, I'm feeling some money dirt on my shoulder. Let's bring some light. And then it comes back because we don't take the time to go deep. But as we continue and go deeper and give it space and time, the more exciting the result can be, I think. Thank you for sharing, Jessica. Someone else that wants to share or have a question? Does it make sense, Sara? I'm not calling out anyone out to be mean. I just want to make sure everyone is having a good time.
It makes sense.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so then the next thing here that we want to look at is, of course, what do we do when we identify the block? This is co-creation. What do we do when we identify a block? We want to bring in more of the light that we invited in the beginning, because doing this work can become emotional. We're going deep into wounds and stuff. It can be very emotional, and sometimes it can feel scary. It can awaken fears. So bringing in light of love, truth, and safety is a very powerful thing to do. And the more you practice it, the stronger it becomes. That's a guarantee. The more you practice, the stronger it becomes. And then we have this clearing statement that I learned from Christy Mary Sheldon. She says, everywhere I carry stagnation of lack, you can change lack to whatever, which I got from my dad, which he got from his past life. Let's make it rabbit holey. I clear and transmute through all time, space, and reality. So this is our clearing statement. So we're asking questions to identify as much as possible, but we don't see everything. So this clearing statement is doing its best to bring in also the places where we still don't know, where we still don't see. Everywhere I carry the idea that money is wrong, bad, evil, I clear and transmute through all time, space, and reality. Everywhere I carry this wound, and I got it from my dad, I clear and transmute it through all time, space, and reality. And then imagine the light working through you. And then repeat again. I clear and transmute through all time, space, and reality. So I mute myself, and you can try to read this and change it so it fits your situation and fits your association that you got. And just explore. Remember, playful intention. What does it feel like to say the statement? And can you set the intention that this is a miracle statement that actually works? Can you set the intention that you're actually very, very powerful healer? Like you know you do it already, but like own it even more. Like, can you step in from this space that it actually works, that is actually magical? Say it a few times and just explore. All emotions are fine. Beautiful. I would love to know if you feel some movement being created, or if you feel stuck, or whatever you experience, like just a word in the chat, or if you want to share with the microphone, a bit love to hear it. Paulina from Korpen, do you want to share something about how you're feeling or what's happening for you?
Yes, I can feel this is working when you tell it a couple of times, and I felt very quick. This is, I think, a small money block for me just now, because I have been working quite much with this issue, and it was clear my mom's, it was not either mine. So, and I know also, since been working with that is long in the generations and ancestors and past life and everything. So I just repeatedly try to clear it all out. So I feel good. Yeah, I feel it's moving.
Lovely. Thank you. Thank you. And Ida is also feeling it. She's yawning. It's beautiful. So I want to go back to this impulsive spending, a topic, and from an energetic point of view, share what I've seen in several clients. Also because I know that some people that signed up for this masterclass, perhaps watching in the replay, also like really like this is the main issue. So what I want to bring back then as a practice is to observe when we take action on this impulsive spending. From what emotional space are we triggered to push the buy button or go into a store or whatever it is? The most common things I see is because someone is feeling lonely or is struggling with this idea that they're not enough. They have to add something to feel better about themselves. And having that reminder that these are the emotional issues I have that triggers this impulsive spending is a way to raise awareness about oneself. And then the next time you start to feel lonely or start to feel restless or not enough, then you can actually do these questions on yourself in that moment. So, okay, hey, I'm feeling really lonely right now. Where in my body do I feel it? Is this loneliness actually mine, or does it come from someone else? And then continue to ask questions and go into clearing statements. So this becomes a tool to raise awareness about oneself and changing the pattern in the moment where it could happen. Because doing this work now helps, but depending on how big the issue is, how strong the issue is, then we might need to do it a few times before the sense of self-power has increased, so the habits also change. Beautiful. We're gonna do the same thing and explore another one. So we work hard for our money. or even if we don't work hard for our money, we deserve them a lot. And from my point of view, we get to deserve our money. But in our society, we're brought up with, like, in so many ways that pleasure is bad. I heard someone say at one point that women specifically are not allowed to be hungry on anything in life. Like, we're not allowed to desire something a lot. We're told to be small and hold back and not take up too much space. And this affects our ability to enjoy things, to be in the sensation of how amazing something is. For instance, saving up for something and spending the money, or getting the salary and spending something right away. Like, you are allowed to enjoy your life. And even if you have habits that are not 100% wonderful, it's okay. You can enjoy life and be in a work in progress at the same time. I don't believe we have to walk around in shame and guilt to be able to change, to be motivated enough. I think it's the most important thing is to understand that something greater is available, and being open to desire something greater. So I want you to think about some point in your life when you bought something for yourself, but you didn't really enjoy it. And it can be like something silly that you didn't know what to eat and you bought sushi and it wasn't really good, but you ate it. So you purchased something and you didn't enjoy it. So it can be like a minor thing, or it can be something more dramatic in your experience. Because it's so important to, when we do this energy work, to also be curious about the small things. Because then we get to be in a life experience where we tweak the energy, tweak the energy, tweak the energy, tweak the energy, like working with the nuance. Like, yeah, this wasn't perfect. Let's work with it a little bit. This wasn't great. Let's work with it a little bit. Instead of like, it's all okay. It's all okay. It's all okay. I'm having a meltdown. I got to work myself up. Like, it's okay to be like, think about someone who's very tidy at home. It's that she doesn't want to have socks on the floor, like whatsoever. It's not okay. The room has to be perfect. And it doesn't have to come from an obsessive place, but from a loving your home place. And you can be loving your energy from a very, very like detailed nuance, like I can do this as I'd like to. So you choose a dramatic purchase, or like could also forget about a purchase, but you didn't enjoy it. I give you a little moment. Then when you found your moment in time, you start to ask the questions. What do you feel now when you think about it? So it's not so much about what you feel back then, because what we are working with is always the now. So you get about 3-4 minutes. You're not going to think about this, you're going to associate. Beautiful. And like, if I'm interrupting now, don't you worry. Like, we can't do this wrong. We are where we are and we trust. And then you move into the clearing statement. So whatever you found when asking these questions, you frame into this sentence. And if it's possible, do it with your words. And also, like, if you feel that the words is not enough, you can move and stretch and maybe imagine yourself pulling out the energy from your body and then transmute it. So you don't put it in a corner, but you transmute it, it goes away. Beautiful. And I set the intention that the light is like showering you everywhere you're stuck, everywhere you see the block. We clear and transmute to all time, space, and reality. Everywhere money is bad or evil, everywhere is egoistic to enjoy, everywhere it's bad to enjoy, everywhere pleasure is bad, we clear and transmute through all time, space, and reality. And so, is there anyone that has a question or wants to share something before we continue? I don't know, Paulina, are you with the baby, or do you want to share something?
Okay, because you put the opportunity to me, I will. And she's
Yeah.
sleeping right now, but she didn't before, so that's good you ask her now. But I was just thinking, like, should I share? But I don't want to share. And this is normally I like to share, but this I felt like I didn't want to share, so I will do it because I'm afraid of it. But I just need to connect with it because I was kind of deep in meditation, so and it just flew away, and that's the whole topic. It's like I'm so disconnected, and I haven't even realized how disconnected I am. And it's almost like when you say money, I'm just like, yeah, money, yeah, they will come, they will go, like, it's fine. I know I can make them if I want them. Like right now I'm happy, but it's a deeper feeling that I want more and I deserve more and I know I could have more if I could be more. And then this, like, but you are not that person, and are you really sure that this person that you like, this idea version of you that you see can have this money? Are you sure you're not just making up an illusion, like being, I don't know, like that's not you, that's not a part of who you could be? And then this, like, inside part of me, this little girl that wants the money. I don't know. Do I make sense? Like I'm almost losing myself in my
100%.
thoughts.
Do you feel, you say that you're disconnected, and I can feel disconnection in your throat. So we're gonna start with just blessing your throat. And open up, like the throat chakra is the portal between the heart and the mind, the consciousness. So we're just gonna drop down. And you can wiggle your toes just to get full body in space. And then I want to ask you, where in your body do you have this doubt, this tone of voice that is interrupting the big vision?
The voice is in the head, in my head, like in between the ears.
Mm. And so is it yours or someone else?
I think when I ask my intuition, it's a heritage. It's like this has been a voice of my ancestors for some time.
Yeah, I can see that. And so if you look at your baby, can you make a statement that with her as your inspiration, you will clear and transmute these old stories through all time, space, and reality? And just feel that in your heart and breathe deep.
I don't need to say it right.
No, you just have to believe me.
I feel like I want to say like, yeah, now I can feel it, but no. It's like...
No, and it's no rush. It's no
Yeah.
rush. So much of you now is providing for your baby. So it's fine. There's no stress. But the next thing I see for you, and there's no rush. No rush. The stress is a mind thing. But the next thing I see for you is allowing yourself to be loved by the people that represents who you actually are. So you have to expand your community of people so it's normalized to wanting to be successful and to be successful, whatever that looks like for you, instead of you being the visionary person in your field.
Makes sense.
Because then you don't have to do all the work alone. The field will help.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. That was very beautiful and deep. And so now for the third money block we're going to look at. And since I had to leave with the phone, I will go over time a little bit. If someone has to leave early, I absolutely understand. But I want you to play with me. So we're going to play, because personal development and spirituality can become a little bit too serious. And then humor is an extremely high vibration. So to include humor in the whole mix of vulnerability and seriousness is very healing. So just for fun, can you guess the biggest money block for women? Use your association and just write down the first thing that comes to mind. Guess in the comments. I'm such an Instagram girly. I meant the chat, but you get that. Self-love and self-worth, says Jessica. Paulina, not worthy. Ida, spending. And obviously, I haven't done research on this on the stage that I can say for sure, like this is the biggest one for women. I don't have that data. However, I've had over 1,000 conversations with people, including women, about money. And one of the most common themes, which is 100% intertwined with what you wrote in the comments, your intuitive women, is that someone else is more important than them. And this goes with money, but also their attention, energy, and like basically everything. If you have the pattern of choosing someone else before you with one aspect of your life, most likely you will see it in many aspects of your life. Just think about if you ever spend time on the phone with someone complaining and you would rather take a shower or go to the gym or watch a movie, but you stayed on the phone. Or you bought something for someone that didn't have any money, but you wanted to help. And then there you were without any money. But at least you helped someone else. And that's more important than helping you. Like it's such a balance, navigating empathy, generosity, with also like having yourself in the equation. And the more worthiness you have, the more easy it is to also choose yourself and not be depleted and drained. So many women work so hard that they can't work no more. They get exhausted. So I want you to think about a moment in time recently when you chose someone else in front of yourself. And I want you to observe what it feels like now to think about that moment. And once again, it doesn't have to be super dramatic. It can be, but it can also be just a tiny little stagnation that you want to work with. And before we continue to work with that emotion in a different way than we did before, I want to look at this spiral again. We can make it bigger. So to be of service is magical, but only when it makes you feel good. To be of service out of guilt is not going to empower you. To be of service out of shame is not going to empower you. But if you believe in your service in such a way that it ignites your energy, that it makes you feel better, then yeah, go for it. And this is a practice of awareness, because sometimes you might start off doing something for someone else and having a good time with it, but you're not aware enough to understand when it's time to go home. So when you go home, you feel depleted. You waited for too long. And then you have to take time to take care of yourself and recharge before you can continue into the world, or you start to normalize being depleted and slowly but surely becoming one of those bitter, angry, complaining, whiny people that we all know, right? We all know someone like that. But what if you made it to a practice to make sure that you can that you're always here somewhere. You don't have to be over here all the time. It's not going to be a healthy thing either to always be on a high. You need this movement of emotions inside of you. But in terms of when you give, when you choose someone else as the main center for your focus, can you practice to make sure that you're taken care of? Because then we're talking about giving in a way that will have you receive in the most magical ways. Law of attraction says that you get what you give. So if you're generous from a frustrated place, then it's frustration that you will get back some ways or others. And then you will be that person who's like, I don't understand. I'm always there for everyone else, but no one helps me. This is unfair, because you're giving from the wrong place. And I'm talking absolutely from my own experience in this. And there's so many layers to this, so many layers. It's so interesting to look at the difference in these things when it comes to astrology and human design and everything that makes us so unique. So you're taking these things to practice and discover your own truth with this. And so back to the situation when you were giving, but it didn't really feel perfect, good, or enjoyable. We do the same thing again. What is the emotion that you feel right now thinking about it? And where in the body is it? And from that place, we're going to do something different. So just one moment to locate the emotion and the part of your body. And then I want you to ask this emotion. I want you to ask this energy, this part of your body. I want you to ask it. Do you have any information, memory, or story that you want to share with me? And whatever comes through, you listen, regardless if it's strong or vague. It can be an image, a color, or a vivid memory. And if you here feel nothing, then you stay with that. That's also important. That's also something. Like everything is information. So whatever answer you get, you stay there, breathe, and bring in light. And if you feel that whatever stagnation that you're aware of becomes stronger by sitting with it, then you can add the clearing statement that we did before. And then you just say, everywhere I carry this story or this memory or this information, I clear and transmute throughout time, space, and reality. And